Hello again. It is becoming increasingly obvious to any objective observer that quite a few of those being welcomed into this country as refugees and asylum seekers are in fact dangerous maniacs. I mentioned last week that nobody from the Home Office seemed to have thought it worth investigating why a Syrian refugee had called his son Jihad. The boy, the child of a fanatical Islamist, went on to marry 3 women simultaneously on the grounds that his religion permitted this, and then to launch a ferocious and lethal attack on Jews outside a synagogue. Another intriguing instance of this lack of curiosity or suspicion on the part of those whose proper business is ensuring our safety and protecting the realm may be seen when an Afghan turned up in Dover with the image of an AK-47 Kalashnikov assault rifle tattooed prominently on his face. You might think that even the most incurious customs official or officer of the border force might pause for a moment and say to himself, well, that's a bit odd. I hope this chap does not have an unhealthy obsession with firearms. Perhaps we ought to be a little more careful with this one. But there, I suppose that when you're processing 1,000 illegal immigrants a day, you're only able to spend a minute or so on each of them. Perhaps nobody actually looked at his face. They just waved him through and directed him to the coach, which would take him to a 4-star hotel. The man in question, Fayez Khan, may be seen in the thumbnail to this video. And a right charmer he looks too. He has lately been convicted of threatening to kill Nigel Farage and joins the growing list of asylum seekers who have sought to repay our hospitality with violence or the threat of violence. We learn from the prosecution that he is, to nobody's great surprise, obsessed with guns. I mean, when a fellow goes to the trouble and expense of having an AK-47 tattooed on his face, we could perhaps work that out without the need for a lot of background checks by the police. Day by day, we notice in the news that more and more people accused of strange crimes, especially the really bizarre kind, have weird foreign names. Often they turn out not to have been born in Britain, but to have come here and later been given British citizenship. The impression one gains is that we are foolishly importing a large number of peculiar people, some of them dangerous, others merely mad, who roam our streets behaving in very alarming ways. It is considered bad form to draw attention to this, and we are supposed to ignore or not notice the number of foreign names of people who are convicted of so many crimes these days. I don't know how well this works with the middle classes, those who read the smart Sunday newspapers like the Sunday Times and the Observer. Pretty well, I imagine, since those type are easy to blind with fancy language. But ordinary people are not deceived. They see very clearly what is going on, and their judgment of the situation and how to deal with it is of course shown by the victory of the Reform Party in local elections over the course of the last week or so, including one in which they received no fewer than 65% of the votes cast. Trust me, the average working man and woman has noticed what is going on in Britain, and I don't think they're going to be putting up with it for very much longer.